Hello guys, so today we will be talking about auto layout. I'll be teaching you guys the basics of auto layout and how to use auto layout in Figma. So for a start, what is auto layout in Figma? Auto layout is like a grouping feature, right? It's used to like group two or more elements together. You can also call it a kind of frame, right? If you're used to Figma already, you should know what a frame is. It's also a kind of frame, but not just an ordinary frame. It's more like a responsive frame. I want you to see auto layout like a rubber band. Okay, so auto layout is like a rubber band. The more you increase what is inside the content or what is within the circumference of that rubber band, it expands. And the more you reduce the content, it retracts back. So that is exactly how auto layout is. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining the basics today. So let's get into it, guys. So if you want to use auto layout, and there are also many things you can use auto layout for. We use it to create our buttons, we use it to create input fields, we use it to create group of elements, right? So this is where you can find your auto layouts on your Figma board. On this right hand side, this layout here, and this is the toggle for auto layout off and on. Okay, so let us try to use auto layout in different case scenario. Let's say for example, let me delete this frame now. Okay, for example, I have two rectangles like this. Yeah, so I can highlight both of them and use an auto layout to bind them together. So the shortcut for auto layout, if you don't want to use this toggle, is Shift A. Hold your Shift key and tap A on your keyboard. I've added an auto layout frame to this now, right? You guys can see that this toggle is blue. The moment I toggle it off, it removes the auto layout, but that's not where I'm going right now. So one thing I want you to notice is this auto layout. You can see that we have different controls under this auto layout section here. So I'm going to explain each control one after the other. So this first bar you're looking at, you already explained this. This is the toggle on and off for auto layout, which is Shift A. Then the next bar you're looking at here, this is the direction of your auto layout. This is the freeform. Freeform works like grouping. It means you can just decide anywhere your items are within the auto layout. But before we go ahead, let's try to digest what that word auto layout means. Auto layout. Auto means automatic. Layout means arrangement. So joining them together, it's a compound word. Auto layout, automatic arrangement. It means you are telling Figma to help you automatically arrange your elements. After you have decided the spacing between those elements, the direction of the elements, you want to arrange them horizontally or vertically or just freeform or even as grids. Then you also have the liberty to decide the width and the height of your auto layout, and also the padding left and right, up and down in your auto layout. So these are everything that we'll be explaining in this video right now. So like I said, the first bar here is the direction of your auto layout. Do you want it to be freeform? Do you want to arrange them vertically from up to down? If I click on this now, it will change the direction of my auto layout. You guys can see horizontally will make it go from left to right, vertically will make it go from up to down. Then this grid now means that combination of vertical and horizontal. It means you want to have something like this. This is a grid here, combination of both horizontal and vertical, both rows and columns. So arranging it vertically will give you columns, arranging it horizontally will give you rows. So combination of rows and columns will give you grid. So we are still coming to that, guys. So now I have one single auto layout here, which is horizontal. This is the grid here, and this is the wrap. This wrap means that you are going to give auto layout a particular width. That okay, auto layout, I don't want you to be more than this width. Let's say for example, I want my auto layout to be 500 pixels by the width. and what I'm putting inside is like 100 pixels. The moment I keep duplicating that thing, or I keep having more of that thing within my auto layout, the moment that thing gets to the end of that auto layout, it will automatically go to the next line, also forming a grid. So this wrap is very similar to grid also, right? Now this is the width of the auto layout and this is the height of the auto layout. Now within this width we have two. At some point we might have three features here, and those three, you have fixed, you have org, and you also have fill container. But we don't have fill container here right now. Why don't we have the fill container? We don't have the fill container because we don't have this auto layout inside another auto layout. Yes, it's very possible. You can have an auto layout inside another auto layout. So if you're having your auto layout inside another auto layout, it will give you the third one here, which is fill container. But we'll talk about that some other time, maybe in the next class, I'm not sure. But for today, for beginner friendly class, I want us to talk about the width and the height and the fixed and the org. So what is the difference between this fixed and org? Fixed means that you want to be the one to decide the width of that auto layout. That is the meaning of fixed. So the moment you put it on fixed, you are the one deciding the width of that auto layout, and when it exhausts that width, it stops expanding. But when you put it on org, then the content inside the auto layout determines the width of the auto layout. Now because it is on org, if I keep duplicating the content inside it, Ctrl D for duplicate, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, you guys can see that my auto layout width keeps expanding, keeps increasing because it is on org. So org means you want it to org whatever is inside, make it expanding, right? To make it responsive to what is inside. And the moment I put it on fixed, now it is on fixed. If I duplicate or even reduce what is inside, let me delete this one, you guys will see that my auto layout did not retract back. The width remains the same, and that is because I already put it on fixed. And now even if I duplicate it, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, you guys will see that my auto layout did still not increase. So now the content is overflowing outside the width. So that is the difference between the fixed and the org. If I change it back to org now, it will now expand and org what is outside, what is overflowing. Look at it, guys. Now my auto layout have expanded and it is now orging the content. So that's the difference between the fixed and the org. The fixed, you are the one deciding it. The org, the content decides it. The same thing happens for our height. So the height is on org now. If I should put this auto layout on grid right now, you guys can see the grid will give you like rows and columns, right? Or if I put it on wrapped, for example, if I put it on wrap now, if I should duplicate this, it will go to the bottom. Ctrl D, you guys can see it's going to the bottom and it's like forming a grid for me. That is wrap for you. But then the height is not increasing because the height has been changed. The height has been changed here to fixed. So I have to change this height back to org. So the auto layout can now org the whole content like this. So that's the difference between fixed and org, right? And this small one you're looking at here is to lock your constraints. And when you lock your constraints, it means that you want to lock what you have for the height and the width. So when you increase the width, it automatically increases the height. When you increase the height, it automatically increases the width. So they will be directly proportional to each other. That is the meaning of this, right? Then this one here is the alignment of your auto layout. Do you want it to align to the left top, left center, center top or right top, or center right, center in the middle, center left, or bottom left, bottom center, or bottom right? If I put it on bottom right, everything will be aligned like this. So you guys can play around this one here, right? So these two we have here, these two are our spacing. So we have two of this one here because we are using grid. But if we are using vertical, we will only have one. If you are using horizontal, you also only have one. But because we are wrapping it now and we have combination of horizontal and vertical, that is why we have two. So this is the spacing horizontally, this is the spacing vertically. So the spacing is different from the padding. What's the difference between spacing and padding? These bottom two are your padding. So this spacing now is the space between the content of the auto layout, but this padding is the space from the edge of the auto layout to the first content inside our auto layout. Now we don't have any padding at all. That is why I can see this content snapping to the left hand side of the auto layout. But the moment I put margin a padding here, if I put like 20 for this padding, you guys will see to have space 20 pixels to the left hand side. You guys can see 20 pixels. So that is the meaning of padding. That's the difference. So your padding is the distance from the edge, the boundary of the auto layout to the content of the auto layout. That is padding. So this is padding left and right. This is padding up and down. But this spacing is the spacing within the content, in between the content inside the auto layout. That is the difference. And the last but not the least, this one is the clip content. So clip content means you don't want it to show anything overflowing outside the auto layout. For example, let me delete these ones. Let's say, for example, my auto layout is overflowing. Let me take this one back to org, then take it back to fixed. So I want it to just accommodate just 5 boxes. I now, mind you, I've already put this width on fixed, which means this width will never get expanded. It will just stay like that. So even if I duplicate what is inside, it will overflow outside the auto layout. I want us to experiment the clip content now. So if I duplicate the content inside, sorry, I think I'm still using wrapped. Yeah, I'm still using wrap, so I'll off the wrap. I'm not using a wrap now. So I want it to overflow outside. If I duplicate this Ctrl D, you guys can see it's overflowing outside. Despite my auto layout stopping here, I still have other things that are still part of the auto layout. When I move my auto layout, they move with my auto layout, right? But they are not within the boundary of the auto layout. So now how does clip content works? If I use my clip content, it will make these ones invincible. So the clip content makes you to toggle off and on the visibility of anything outside the boundary of your auto layout. So you can only see them now because I did not on my clip content. The moment I on the clip content, you can't see what is outside the boundary of the auto layout anymore. And the moment I off it, you can see what is outside the boundary of the auto layout. So we use this one most times when we are using carousel, right? When we want something to like overflow to the right hand side, so you can slide back to your left. That is when we use this clip content. So that's basically everything about auto layout. I hope I have the time to bring you a more advanced class about auto layout where I can show you how to use auto layout to design your button, your input fields, your transaction detail page, and every other thing it is being used for. So, but I don't want this video to get too long, so this is where I'll be stopping for today. I also have many amazing videos, beginner friendly videos on my YouTube channel, on my TikTok page also. Try to check Oracle Design channel, try to check your Tech Bro on TikTok, try to check your Tech Bro on Twitter also. I have so many cool stuffs for you to kickstart your design journey with Figma. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a feedback also, and stay tuned. Yeah, please subscribe also. I would appreciate that very much. Thank you.